What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex here, and you're watching the Marvel edition of the Ragin Nation show. This is just a web series where we're talking about all things matter me in the world of Marvel films. This is episode number 97, and in this episode, we got a lot of stuff to talk about, but we're first going to start off by talking about Captain America's Civil War, and the big question is, when are we going to see that very first trailer? Now, there was a teaser trailer that debuted at Comic-Con, not San Diego Comic-Con, because Marvel Studios wasn't there to present anything, but at Comic-Con India. Marvel Studios brought with them the teaser trailer for Captain America Civil War at Comic-Con India, and the lucky fans over there were able to check it out. I didn't check it out because it wasn't made available as an HD version online. There were some crappy low-resolution cam versions, but I wasn't going to spoil it and watch those. Only if you attended the Comic-Con in India, you were able to watch it. Otherwise, it was not made publicly available online. Now, we got news, or rather a report about the first Captain America Civil War trailer coming out. And there's a rumor that stated that it was going to be released with Spectre, the new James Bond film that comes out on November 6th. Now, that was just an initial report, and I found out that there's an updated report, and apparently the very first Captain America Civil War trailer will debut with Star Wars The Force Awakens. Now, that makes sense, because after all, Disney owns both Captain America Civil War, or rather Marvel, and also, of course, Star Wars. So it makes sense that we would be getting the Captain America Civil War trailer with The Force Awakens. And it also makes sense because both of them were shot with IMAX cameras. So I can imagine that IMAX, when you watch the presentation of The Force Awakens in IMAX, you're going to see an IMAX presented trailer for Captain America Civil War. So that's when we're going to see the very first trailer for Captain America Civil War, all right? Moving on, let's talk about... What are we going to talk about? Oh, let's talk about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. That's what they're calling the sequel for the surprise hit of 2014. I really love Guardians of the Galaxy. It was a pleasant surprise, and it was a very, very fresh... I guess a fresh direction for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Anyways, the sequel is coming in 2017, and they're starting the, I guess the pre-production right now, and part of pre-production is casting. And the first, or rather a cast member has been cast in a mystery role, and that actress would be French actress Pom Klementif. Now, the very first time I've seen her was in Old Boy. That would be the Spike Lee American remake of the South Korean classic film Old Boy. She is cast in a mystery role, and the reason why I would like to report this as a piece of news is because I believe her role is going to be significant. First of all, she has an exotic look to her. Second, she's also trained in physical combat. She's trained in boxing and also taekwondo. So I imagine that she's going to be in a role which requires her to do some kicking and also punching. So she's cast in a mystery role. Take a look at her. Which character do you think she could possibly be playing? I wouldn't know because I never followed Guardians of the Galaxy, but I imagine that she could be playing a number of possible potential roles, all right? So that's my little bit of news for the production of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Moving on, let's move over to 20th Century Fox and talk about a production that's going through a little bit of trouble right now, and that is Gambit. Gambit is supposed to be filming right now in New Orleans, but they don't have a director. They originally had a director, and that would be Rupert Wyatt, who worked on Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I was so excited when they announced that Rupert Wyatt was directing Gambit, but now he has left the project due to scheduling conflicts. It wasn't because of creative differences, it was because of scheduling conflicts. And you know what? That's not so bad, because otherwise he would have left on a negative note because of creative differences. This happens all the time. But if it's a scheduling conflict, then that is there was no harm intended. All right, there was no harm, no foul, no creative people butting heads. It wasn't anything like that, because when things like that happen, then it hurts the script. So thankfully, it was nothing like that. It was just a scheduling conflict. Now we gotta find a director, and we need to find one quick, because they need to be filming soon, like right now. And if they don't have that director and they're not filming right now, that means the film could possibly be delayed, because they, a filming schedule is a very, very, it's a very, I guess, a well-oiled machine. Everything's supposed to go like clockwork, all right? If things get delayed, you delay everything else and eventually delay the release date. Now, let's find out who could potentially and possibly be directing Gambit. Now, these are the names that got thrown out. Doug Liman, who directed Edge of Tomorrow, as well as Bourne Identity. I think he directed the first Bourne Identity, and also a comedy called Go, all right? And Swingers. Then there's also Shane Black. Shane Black directed, why am I clapping? He directed Iron Man 3, okay? And then there's Joe Cornish, who directed a film called Attack the Block, but he was also responsible for doing a little bit of writing for AntMan. This is before Edgar Wright left. So, I think we have three very talented directors here. I know some of the Marvel fans might be against the idea of Shane Black directing, because they might not have liked the way he handled the characters in Iron Man 3, but I actually enjoyed Iron Man 3. I liked Doug Liman's direction. I thought he told a very good story with Edge of Tomorrow. And Joe Cornish, I think, is a very, very talented storyteller. I enjoyed Attack the Block, and I think that he has something very creative to bring to the table. Any one of these directors will do for me, and I hope they find one soon. But these are the candidates right now. All right. Who would you like to direct Gambit? Let me know in the comment section below. Moving on, let's talk about Ant-Man. Back at the Marvel Cinematic Universe, we have Ant-Man, which has now crossed the $500 million mark at the global box office. Thank you to China, or rather thanks to China, Ant-Man has now made $500 million at the worldwide box office, and that is awesome, because now it is established that Ant-Man is a well-received character. A lot of non-Marvel fans thought the idea of an Ant-Man character was like digging deep into the bottom of the barrel, because they never really understood the character, and they thought the idea of an Ant-Man was silly. But the movie was awesome. In fact, what they didn't know about Ant-Man was the fact that, first of all, in the comics, he's one of the founding members of the Avengers, and also he contributes quite a bit, and his contribution and his collaboration with the other members is actually quite significant in the story. So I'm so glad that Ant-Man did well. I'm glad that Ant-Man was also a film that a lot of people enjoyed. I went to watch it twice, and now it has made $500 million worldwide. Now, we're going to see Ant-Man once again, in Captain America Civil War, and also in 2018 when we see the sequel, and that is called Ant-Man and the Wasp. Right now, Peyton Reed, who directed the first Ant-Man film, is in negotiations to direct, and I'm pretty sure that he's got the job, because he already expressed interest in wanting to come back to tell the story again. And with the success of the first film, I can't see why he wouldn't come back, all right? So finally, we're going to leave off by talking about Thor Ragnarok. And it is going through a very early stages of pre-production right now. And now it has just been announced where they're going to be filming. And they're going to be filming in the state of Queensland in Australia, along the Gold Coast. And that's going to be great for the economy over in Queensland. It's, I believe, the third largest state in Australia. And pre-production is going to start in January, with filming to begin in June of 2016. Now, Mark Ruffalo, as we already know, is involved with Thor Ragnarok. He's going to be making an appearance as Hulk / Bruce Banner, alongside with Thor, played by Chris Hemsworth. That's going to be really, really exciting because we haven't seen Hulk outside of the Avengers films since the very first film, played by Edward Norton. But I want to see more of Mark Ruffalo, appearing without the rest of the teammates. And it's cool to know that he's going to be making an appearance in Thor Ragnarok. And Mark Ruffalo had something to say about his part in Thor Ragnarok. And what he said was very interesting. He said, I think it's going to be a buddy picture with Thor and Bruce Banner. I think they'll probably fight. There's no doubt everyone wants us to fight at one point. Now, they fought in The Avengers, the very first film, and that was pretty cool. And, well, you know what? If Hulk brings out his anger issues and he can't control them, who do you think is going to put him at bay? Well, that would be Thor. So, I'm pretty positive that in Thor Ragnarok, they're going to fight, and then later on, they're going to put aside their differences because they're going to have to fight a common threat. So that's what's happening with Thor Ragnarok. Really, really excited about it. And we will be seeing Thor Ragnarok on November 3rd, 2017. Now, I talked about a lot of exciting stuff, and I want you to let me know your thoughts about anything that I've talked about in the comments section below. And stay tuned for the next episode. And of course, what the hell was that? Anyways, as always, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation. Also follow me on Twitter at Ragin Nation. My name is Alex Yu. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace. Oh, fuck.